So with that done, we're going to click OK. Okay, so what should happen now, we're going to click play. The camera should, there we go. It's tracking our player. However, when we get near the edge of the screen doesn't track, which is what we want. So that's good. Now what we want now is see how we can walk through these areas here. We don't want that. We want to only be able to walk through the open areas. So we'll work on that now. So how do we set it up so we can only walk through the open areas? What we're going to do is we're going to go back to where we work on our art. I'm rolling the mouse wheel to zoom back. I'm holding the middle mouse button to pan the view. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our right. We're going to click plus. We're going to bring in a new sprite. We're going to name this sprite block. And we're going to make this in the Piskel editor. So we're going to click this plus button here to the right, and then we're going to left click right on the text that says edit with Piskel. So we're going to go to this color selector down here. We're going to click in the green, click and drag. I'm going to click and drag in this green here. Then I'm going to go to the paint bucket, click here. I'm going to name this block. Again, the name isn't important. I figure it's easy. Why not? We're going to click save. And just like that, we have this block right here. So now we're going to click apply. Doesn't need any behaviors or anything. And what we're going to do with this block is we're going to left click on the block and then drag this onto our work area. So here's the block right here. Okay, so we're going to put this block where we want things to, we're going to make sure we have block selected here. And the areas where we want to not be able to go, we're going to put this block around. So I'm going to right click here, click add instance of block, right click here, 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 add instance of block. An instance is just basically a copy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to roll the mouse wheel in. So with areas like this, we'll click here, we'll drag the block out. And I'm dragging this just so this area, this block is going to block us from being able to move from here. So I'll right click here, add instance of block. I'll do the same thing here. And then we have this area here, so I can actually move this up and then pull that down like that. Few different ways of doing this. This is my current way that I do it. There's multiple ways of doing things like this in Gdevelop. If there's a better way of doing this, please let me know. This is my way for now. So I am just taking these blocks and I'm basically putting them to right up against the areas that we can walk through. Click on block here, add instance of block. So I'm just putting these in the areas where I don't want. I'll left click here, the player to be able to walk through. And that's what I'm doing now. And I tried to put blocks where I thought that the where I would need blocks at. here. Put this here. Put this here. Just rolling the mouse wheel back. So I'll click on the block. So you click the block first, add an instance of the block. You can drag the block out. If you want to have the exact shape of the block, what you can do is left click on the block, right click, copy, and then right click, paste. Then you'll have that same shape of the block. I'm just looking where we put that at. So here, I'll right click, copy, right click, paste. Put that there. I'll copy, paste. This here, copy, paste, put that there. Oh, right click, copy, paste, hold them in a mouse button to pan. I'm going to take this in a, that's interesting. Rotate like that. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. Okay, now that we have all of this work done, we're going to go to Events. We're going to click here. So we have this blue outline around this event. We're going to click to make a new event. We're going to go to Add Condition. We're going to go to Common Conditions for all objects. We're then going to go to Collision. We're then going to select Collision again. We're going to select Player. Then we're going to select Block. Then we're going to click OK. So now what we're going to do is go to Add Action. So we're saying when the player's in collision with a block, do something. We're going to click Add Action. We're going to go to Common Conditions for all, Position. We're going to go to Separate Two Objects. We're going to left click here. It's important that the first thing you select is the thing that moves, which is the player that you want to move. So there's the player. Then we're going to click the object, and the object is the block. We're now going to click OK. Okay, so because all of the blocks are instances of what we have the programming on here, which is block, they all will not allow the player to move through it. However, we want to have things set up so that it doesn't look like the player is pushing against the green blocks. We want to have it look like the player is moving through what's supposed to be empty space and not moving through what's not empty space. So to do that, we're going to click here. So we have this highlighted blue. We're going to click plus to make a new event. We're going to click Add Condition. We're going to go to Scene. We're going to select at the beginning of the scene. We're going to click OK. And then at the beginning of the scene, we're saying Gdevelop, at the beginning of the scene, we want you to do something. So we're going to click Add Action. So we tell Gdevelop what we want it to do. And what we want it to do is we're going to go to Common Action for all objects. We're going to go to Visibility. And we want to hide the block, or the blocks, or the instances of this block. So we'll select block. We'll then click OK. Okay, so there's another object we want to hide at the beginning of the scene as well. So we're going to click actually what we can do is we can click here, we can right click, select copy, then right click and select paste. And then what we can do is click to change the object. And what we want to select is button. So now we have at the beginning of the scene, the block will be hidden as well as the button that lets us go back to the interior of the ship. So we're going to click here to try this out. So now when we walk, we can't go through. We can go through where we're supposed to go through. However, we can't go outside of the ship. So we can move through the ship. Now we wanted, like here, we can actually go through here. We could also put a block there. So we can move through the ship. And now I left this open because this was actually the where we come into the ship at. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on our project manager button. We're going to go back to scene 1. We're going to roll this back. We're going to test out to make sure that everything is working. So let's launch a preview of the scene. So now I'm pressing the arrow keys to walk across to our ship. We're going to press the Z key. So now we're in the interior of the ship. So we're walking through the ship. We are walking through what we're supposed to be able to walk through and not walking through what we're not supposed to be able to walk through. The camera is following our player. So now we're going to go back to here. And we're going to press the M key. So now we are back outside of the ship. So this is working well. Okay, I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope that you liked the tutorial. Okay, guys, that's it for the tutorial. For all of those of you out there who like the videos on this channel and reshare these videos, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And for those of you who are new to this channel, if you like the videos on this channel, you would like to see more, please subscribe, and thank you for viewing.